Hey y'all, welcome back to BD Iron. I'm Benjamin Davies. This is our story over the past 15 years, from how we started to how we grew into an ironwork business. In 2008, I blew out my knee for the second time playing college football at WCU. My football career was over. I might not have ever made it to the pros, but at that point, it was all I could see in my future. It was devastating for me. It was one of the most difficult challenges I had in my life up to that point. I quickly realized I needed to find something to fill that void in my life. I was lucky enough to form a friendship in the neighborhood where I grew up at. He's a Vietnam vet, understood what I was going through. He also liked to work with his hands. He taught me leatherwork and wood carving. I really enjoyed those things. He'd recently also gotten into forging himself and slowly talked me into it also. I love forging. I quickly enrolled in some classes at Haywood Community College and got to learn underneath a brilliant instructor named David. If you've ever had the opportunity to meet David, he's extremely talented and just a wealth of knowledge to be around. What I loved most about forging was it was difficult. I had such a hard time with it. It did not come easy. And in my life, anything that's ever kind of came hard is usually worthwhile, and that's what attracted me to it. I spent the next 2 years taking night classes at Haywood Community College before we relocated to Shelby, North Carolina, my wife's hometown. We had our first child, we bought our first house, and then we were out of money. Right after we moved to Shelby, we went to my aunt and uncle's for a hammer-in. That's a blacksmith demonstration, in case you didn't know. I got to see all kinds of blacksmith demonstrations there, which just continued to ignite my fire and my passion for ironwork. Not only that, my aunt and uncle sent me home with this anvil right here and a bunch of other tools as they would every year, every time I'd come up. Thank y'all so much. You were such a huge help as we started out. It'd be 2 years before we get our first forge. By 2012, we'd had our second child. Our family was growing. I was still at the grocery warehouse and Vicki was still at home with our babies. I loved it. It was a beautiful time of life, but there wasn't much left over on payday. For my birthday that year, my mom surprised me by getting me my first gas forge. It's probably one of the best gifts I've ever received. And just another example of where I've been blessed to have some help along the way. Thanks, Mom. 2012, I did my first craft show at Owen Middle School, where I went and grew up. I took 2 buckets filled with hooks, wall-mounted toilet paper, and paper towel holders, and made almost $500. I was hooked. I thought to myself, wow, this might be something I could actually make a living out of that I really enjoy. From 2012 to 2016, we committed to doing as many shows as we could. I'd work 4 days a week at the grocery warehouse, and then I'd take my 3 days off and I'd work at home trying to make this side hustle into a reality. In 2016, we bought our first power hammer. It was the biggest purchase up until that point. It was a huge game changer for us. Fall of 2017, I quit my job at that warehouse to go full time. It was a gift given to me by my wife. And my wife takes a job teaching at the school where my kids go to help out. By then, our 2 oldest kids are in school, and we've got one more that's about 3 years old, and he'll stay at home with me and hang out in the shop as I forge. 2017 to 2020, a whole lot of learning goes on and a whole lot of struggle. It's really difficult trying to figure out the craft show industry for us. By 2020, we feel like we've got a pretty good hold on it, understand booth setup, understand the shows we like, and they're looking for more. We're pretty amped about 2020. And then our shows for 2020 were all canceled except for a few in the mountains that were able to open because they were outdoor shows. Luckily, after doing ironwork for almost a decade, we had several people reach out to us in 2020 to do custom commission work. We did these jobs right here. Those were huge for us. Thank you. They kept the lights on in our house and in our shop. By fall of that year, those commissions had slowed down and it didn't look like there were going to be many shows on the horizon for 2021. I tell my wife, Vicki, I think it's time I look at getting a 3rd shift warehouse job so she can still teach and I can be at home to hang out with our youngest during the day. Vicki says no. She won't let me quit. She doesn't let me get off the ride too early. And for that, I'll ever be incredibly humbled and grateful. I can't believe it still to this day. At this point, we'd had a few sales on Etsy. We mainly used it for custom commissions. If somebody would want a piece from us, we'd send them a link through Etsy. We sold a few things on Etsy that year, things that we'd advertise on Facebook just to our friends. Roasting sticks were really popular. We made these first initially for our family. We enjoyed using them by the campfire in the backyard during 2020 and still do today. So I have a gut feeling about Etsy. I think maybe if I put some products on Etsy, maybe that'll do well. So I do some research and I pick out some products that I think will do well. And I put about 8 to 10 up there on Etsy. Come November, we start having sales. The next day we have more sales. Next thing we know, it's gangbusters from November to December. Wow. Thank y'all. We went from having no sales on Etsy to anywhere from 10 to 30 a day. It was crazy. We knew nothing about packaging. We knew nothing about third-party shipping, but we leaned into it. Luckily, I had a great postmaster, Chris, who was able to help us out, figuring some things out, shipping, told us how we could get boxes, told us how we can ship. He was a huge help. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Amanda. I'd work 12 to 16 hours a day. Vicky would go to school, teach, come home, take care of the children, drive them, and drop them off anywhere they needed to be. And then she'd come home and pack packages until 2 o'clock in the morning. It was the first time in life as a married couple and a family, we were able to get a little bit ahead and start to actually reinvest in the business. It was a tremendous blessing. And we thought to ourselves, wow, that's pretty awesome. That's cool. We had a good ride, you know. January comes, continued with sales. February, March, April. It's continued ever since. In 2021, we didn't know if Etsy was going to continue. So we continued to do a full list of shows as they opened, and we continued to take on custom work. It was one of the hardest work schedules in our life, filled with 80-hour weeks and saying yes to everything that came our way. In 2022, Vicky came home from teaching as we started to grow our family again and help out in the business. She's our office manager. She does all our packaging and shipping. There's our packing queen. There's the backbone of our business. If you get a handwritten card from us and you're able to read it, it's because of her. You're welcome. By 2023, Etsy continues to grow. We hire our first employee, Jason, this guy. Jason comes in, he does all our cutting, he does all our grinding, our deburring, and he helps out with a lot of the finish work. He'll even hang out with the little ones sometimes when Vicky's here, so her and I can take 5 minutes to talk about business. It's pretty cool to have somebody that I can trust like that in our shop. Jason, you're awesome. Appreciate you, man. Sometime towards the end of summer, beginning of fall 2023, it hits me. We're an e-commerce business without any social media presence at all. So I began to do some research on social media. And I commit to learn some equipment. We even buy some cameras just to enhance it and make the quality that much better. And we took our Instagram from about 850 followers, which were mostly family and friends, to now, as of November 2024, we have almost 20,000 followers. That's awesome. We enjoy making reels. We enjoy sharing our content. We hope y'all enjoy them too. Finally, get an idea to do something I wanted to do for a long time. We started our first YouTube channel. Not this one. This one. Welcome to Maker's Journey Workshop. I'm Benjamin Davies, and today we're making mistakes. Made so many mistakes on this one. Mistakes are always a good thing to show, but these were not all intentional. So some were, and I'll show you the ones that were. Try to show you some workarounds. Sometimes you can't even do the workaround, you just have to start over. But the important thing to stick with on this project is just keep going. Everything I know, everything that I've learned, the majority of it has come from making mistakes and the doing and the process. Let's get after it. It's called Maker's Journey Workshop. And what hit me to finally make it was thinking about all the struggles that I'd experienced over the past 10 to 15 years and all the misbeliefs I would have about what you would need to get to the next level, when in reality, you just need a bit of a can-do attitude and a few tools. So our first video is about making a blacksmith setup on a shoestring budget and learning those skills. We made our very own anvil and base out of some scrap wood we had laying around and a chunk of metal in the shop. This one right here. Maker's Journey Workshop has given us the opportunity to showcase some of the things that we've learned in the past 10 to 15 years and condense that. So hopefully somebody else starting out on this path can have a quicker progression, learning from our mistakes and our experiences. It's something we really enjoy doing. You should check it out. So if you enjoyed learning about our shop, learning about our history, and want to know where BD Iron is going in the future, be sure to enroll on our email list below. You'll get weekly newsletters from us. I'm not going to bombard you. You may get more around the holidays. You'll definitely get more when we're doing a product drop. From us here in Shelby, North Carolina at BD Iron, thank y'all. Have a great one.